I think, of course, many of us are under disadvantage, especially if we lived in Kansas all our lives. We've never been to merry old England. Very few people have been to merry old England. They'd have to be 700 years old. But I think we have an imagination, and we have images of merry old England. For instance, it's in Technicolor. Think of Robin Hood and his merry band of men. All those bright colors, all those tights, all those, but the brightness, the feasting, the joy, and the celebration of Robin Hood and his merry men. You might think of it as the Sunday roast. I mean, anyone will eat their vegetables when they're coated in gravy. And notice they like their meat well done. And the wonderful potatoes and the Yorkshire pudding. We just had Mexican food. You might think of the public house, the pub, a place where people sing and discuss, throw darts at people or at dartboards. But there are other ways to think of merry old England. Merry old England in a cathedral. Whoops. Merry old England in a cathedral, Canterbury Cathedral, for instance. This is April. You know where the pilgrims are. They're on the road. The holy, blissful martyr for to see. I guess I'm giving the story away, but the tomb of that holy, blissful martyr will be destroyed by Henry VIII, because without knowing it, St. Thomas of Becket had broken 16th century laws. Or it could be merry old England in a Cistercian abbey. This is the plan of Fountain Abbey in Yorkshire. It was the second Cistercian abbey founded in the north of England. And you might notice to this side, the plans, there's the houses for strangers. In other words, the guests, the lay guests who would come. This is where people were welcomed with the great hospitality of the monks. And if I had the fuller plan of the whole of Fountain's Abbey, the lands, you would see all the industry they had, the farmland, the common lands they had for the peasants and the landholders nearby to use, and how they were such landlords and such giving such provender to their people. But merry old England did exist. It is not just nostalgia for the good old days. There was a time in England, from about 1400 to 1700, when people really did dance around maypoles, have church ales, have festivals, have this balance of feasting and fasting, because it was all tied to two great things. One thing is, as Professor Estlund said, the dear departed Professor Estlund, at least he's gone from us, they were outdoors. And so they were in tune with the rhythms of nature. And then they had, in those seasons of planting and harvest, they also had the church liturgical year. The seminal work in the whole history of the English Reformation, and indeed of merry old England, is Eamon Duffy's The Stripping of the Altars, in which he shows that from high to low, whether they were literate or not, the English people were Catholics, very much engaged in the life of their church through the liturgical year. The symbols were very clear to them. When they saw certain activities and certain rituals taking place, they knew what they meant. The seasons, especially the season of Advent and Christmas and Lent and Easter, had this flow and rhythm of feasting, well, fasting first, and then feasting, or feasting so that you were ready to fast, and then feasting again. They had this rhythm of this.